NashBio is helping companies unlock the power of the human genome.
The genome is comprised essentially of 4 letters, 4 nucleotides, A, C, T, and G, and the human genome contains 3 billion of these in pairs. So there's really 6 billion pairs of nucleotides in the human genome. Each genome yields about 100 gigabytes of data. So for a population of 250,000 patients that we're sequencing, that's about 25 petabytes of data.
It's just one of those things that actually, if you were to look at that size of data, your mind wouldn't be able to process it. It's just a number to you, but it's absurdly large.
We're able to read any individual's genome in teeny tiny pieces, in fragments just a few hundred bases at a time, and assemble them back together like a huge jigsaw. I can measure the whole genome, and when I do that, I can look at patterns of genetic variation in whole populations in a manner that really frees me to discover what isn't really understood all that well to date.
Exome sequencing is another one, which is looking at a much smaller portion of the genome. It's really about 1%.
And we then sequence that 1% of the genome. It's a more cost-effective technique than whole genome sequencing, and the results from whole exome sequencing are more interpretable. At this point in time, we firmly believe that the value in sequencing the entire genome instead of the exome will yield additional discoveries that more than covers the additional cost and complexity of sequencing whole genomes. NashBio is a really unique organization due to our partnership with Vanderbilt University Medical Center. We're able to access de-identified consent to medical records to answer really fundamental questions about biology and human health.
When you have that health history and you have the genetic makeup of these individuals who have donated their DNA sequence, putting those two together really creates the magic.
And by working closely with us, biopharma companies will have access to deep longitudinal medical records, whole genome sequence data from hundreds of thousands of participants, along with the expertise to help them analyze that data and analytic tools in commercial clouds that enable them to make sense of the data.
Also, one of the big initiatives that we have is the Alliance for Genomic Discovery, which is a collection of 8 different pharma companies who have come together and decided collectively to create this resource and help fund this resource and develop it.
Companies can work together in a pre-competitive way to answer some really fundamental questions at the heart of human health and biology. Looking forward, I think that we'll continue to use whole genome sequencing because it's just such a fundamental and fruitful biological method, just reading the entire human genome. So I think we'll combine whole genome sequencing, protein biomarkers, along with more comprehensive electronic medical record data as we can use, for instance, natural language processing advances to extract more value from physician notes. We'll be able to discover new associations between genes, genetic elements, disease progression.
So they can then turn that into treatments, turn that into diagnostic tests, turn that into medical devices.
Use all these advances to deliver new medicines, new advances to help everyone live longer and healthier lives.